I did not want to look up the Kings goal song for this one, so I just ended up trying to learn La La Land by Bryce Vine on guitar. You know the Hey baby, waste your time with me in California. That is not time I got out. That was a loss, a 3-2 loss against the LA Kings in the shootout. Welcome back to Into the Den, everybody. I'm your host, 100X, and this was a very frustrating game. This was the least fun game that we have played all season. Us to take at least one. I expected us to take at least one in overtime loss during the gauntlet during these last 6 games before Christmas. I did not expect it to be against the Kings. I mean, I know that the Kings are good, but also this game was sort of handed to us on a silver platter. The Kings went into this game with the absolute worst combined save percentage in the entire league. And the Bruins went into this game with the best combined save percentage in the entire league. Kings were starting a guy named Phoenix Copley, who not only is a guy that I have never heard of before in my life, but also this is a guy who spells his name Pheonix. The dude doesn't even spell Phoenix correctly. But somehow it beat us, so who cares? It didn't need to go this way. The Bruins were outplaying the Kings for the first 40 minutes, and then the third period started, and we just kind of fell off. The Kings at the start of the during the entire first period were sort of just edging closer and closer to edging towards their the blue line every time the puck was in their zone. Sort of like, you know how you have like one of those ticks that people tell you to stop doing, and then you but you don't even realize that you do it. So you think, so you're self-conscious about it, and then you end up accidentally doing it in front of your friend. And again, you're like, hey, what did I tell you about that? Stop doing it. I mean, Charlie McAvoy ends up taking a high stick, ends up spilling blood on a high sticking call again. I can't even remember his name. That's the guy. I know his name was hyphenated. I just forgot what his name was. But Chucky ends up going for high sticking for spilling blood on him, for spilling his blood. And hey, the Bruins end up playing really well during this shorthand opportunity. They get a bunch of opportunities on the shorthand, and even making it be, even with it turning into a 4-on-4 during the last 40 seconds, because Drew Doughty ended up taking a hooking penalty. It doesn't matter that the Kings killed that penalty. Just, I don't know. Well, the first period ends with no score on either side. But it's just hilarious how the Kings started the game with like 5 shots on goal in the first 5 within the first 3 minutes, and then spent the next 17 just getting the next 5. Second period starts, and someone takes the hooking penalty. I'm actually not sure who. I think it might have been Blake Lizotte. Actually, no, it wasn't Blake Lizotte. Someone ends up taking a hooking penalty. Someone ends up taking a penalty for the who is it for? Someone ends up taking a penalty for who is it? For LA. Sorry, I'm a little bit discombobulated. I've stayed up until 4 a.m. the past 3 days is getting finals done. Someone ends up going into the box for LA, but not before it turns into a shorthanded, a delayed penalty. Olmark gets off the ice. Bergeron gets on, and Bruins do do a little bit tricky, do a little bit of trickery, and from the top of the faceoff circles was Taylor Hall, with one hall of a shot, ends up getting the first ends up getting the first 6-on-5 goal for the Bro. Actually no, they didn't. They got a 6-on-5 goal earlier this season. But anyway, Hall ends up scoring from the top of the faceoffs. From the top of the faceoff circles, so we don't get the power play, but we do get a goal. 1-0. And then Blake Lizotte ends up going for holding holding Bergeron's stick, and a little bit later on this power play, Marchand ends up sniping from the top corner, sniping in the top corner of the goal through traffic to put the Bruins up 2-0. And at this point, I think the game is done. But I don't think the game is done yet, but we're definitely in cruise control for right now. Oh, how optimistic I was. The Bruins defense gets completely burnt, like someone left the casserole in for 20 minutes too long, burnt. And Kevin Fiala goes right to goal. Omar saves it, but he can't get to the other side before Adrian Kempe just swoops in and taps it in. I cannot put this one on Omar. That is purely defense. It's just falling apart right there. And it's not like the Bruins didn't have opportunities after this. They got two. We had 2 power play opportunities with Sean Dursey tripping Brad Marchand and Trevor Moore going for hooking, like right after the Dursey penalty dies, and we don't capitalize on any of it. We got I think we had we went 1 for 6 on power play and had 15 or 16 shots on goal during the power play. It was disgusting. Team that is this elite on offense should not be having this much trouble scoring when a man up. Anyway, everybody's least favorite words. Everybody's least favorite Jack Edwards slogan comes around. We're into the Ford F-150 Final 5. Clifton ends up getting a really weak cross-checking penalty. It's the bare minimum that could probably be considered a cross-checking. And then 6 seconds later, Carla decides, there's not enough people in the box. Why not add one more? So he ends up going for tripping right after Clifton goes for cross-checking. And honestly, I don't even know how to feel about this one. And the guy he's tripping was sort of already falling down, and I don't know if he was already falling down actually, but Carlo's stick was right in between the ref's legs, and it's I don't even think that he even meant to do this. It was sort of just oh shoot, that happened. But it doesn't matter. They get a penalty, and Kevin Fiala passes really quickly again, and Adrian Kempe catches Omar Glacken. It's a 2-2 game, but even with Omar, even with that being one that Omar theoretically should have, I can't put that on Omar either, because maybe, just maybe, and y'all better listen to me right quick on this one.
Maybe you shouldn't take maybe you shouldn't take 2 penalties, one right after another, in the last 5 minutes of the game.
Drew Doughty ends up going for cross-checking, and this one is sort of just okay, if we're gonna give Clifton a penalty for what he did, we should probably give Doughty a penalty for what he did, because they were basically the same thing. I don't really think that if Clifton was a cross check on that one, then Doughty was a cross check on that one. Bruins get a minute 20 of 4-on-3 play. Theoretically, we should be playing. We should win it here. We play probably the worst. We play probably one of the worst power play shifts I've seen the Bruins play all season. This was garbage. There is no way to describe the power play that the Bruins had in overtime other than garbage. The Kings easily kill it. Both teams end up trading in breakaways with Phoenix Copley completely stonewalling a 2-on-1 breakaway from Bergeron and Marchand, and Philip Deneau and Marchand end up getting into just a little bit of a tussle. Doesn't matter because as nobody else scores, we're going to the shootout. And this is where stuff gets stupid. After the first 4 players to go score, we got Cole for the Bruins, then Velarde for the Kings, then DeBrusk for the Bruins, then Kempe for the Kings. After the first 4 players score, the next 9 don't. And we got Pastrnak, Fiala, Marchand, and Kopitar, Krejci, Kaliev, Hall, Deneau, Bergeron, and then finally Trevor Moore ends up taking this into ends up putting the last nail in the coffin for this game. I'm not, you know how a lot of people in games against good teams, when they lose, is they're like, I'm not frustrated that we lost. I'm frustrated that I'm frustrated in the way that we lost. I'm frustrated that we lost. I know that the Kings are third in the Pacific, in a very, very weird Pacific, but at the same time, with the worst goaltending tandem in the entire league, based on actual stats, not based on vibes, because this worst goaltending tandem based on vibes is easily St. Louis, but worst goaltending tandem based on stats, it's with a team that is booked to the gills with offensive talent, and we should be able to theoretically close us out with at least at the very worst a 4-2 win. We should not have to be taken into freaking overtime and then lose in the shootout. That just doesn't compute up here. It just doesn't compute up here. Granted, nothing much computes up here because I didn't take a math class this semester. I took so pretty much all of my finals are essays. Hooray! Bruins' next game is on Saturday against the King. Not against the Kings. It's against the Blue Jackets. If we lose this one, I don't even know what to think. With that, I think I'm gonna call it for tonight. Thank you all so much for watching, and click like if you like. Click subscribe if you really like. Up there is my most recent video. Down there is my Twitch.tv and Tampa Bay Thrives to help donate to a charity to help kids in the Tampa Bay area with mental health issues and body image issues. I'll see you guys again on Saturday, possibly Friday if I get all my all my outstanding work done, and I will probably be on Twitch for a little bit, just to hang out, probably talk some dumb stuff that's been going on in the world, because boy, everything's kind of going to hell. Take care. Taco Bell didn't even give me my freaking Baja Blast that I ordered.